Hello and welcome back. So we've seen how to try and upload an image here. Now the only thing we need to do is to try and test to upload an image and see what happens. So I'm going to hit the browse button here. So let me just refresh this and hit the browse button. And then I'm going to go to my desktop. I've got a picture here of my adorable son. And then I'm going to hit post. So now, as you can see, we've received some data here. So there's this variable called file, which we named as file, and then inside there's an array. Now, the reason there's an array in an array like this is because if I post 2 or 3 files, there's going to be file 1 here, file 2 with another array inside with the name, type, and so on, depending on what you've posted, because you can have multiple posts of these. Actually, to give you a demonstration, seeing is believing. So let me go down here and duplicate this one. And then I'm going to name this one file 2. I can give these guys any name, file 1, file 2. I can say this one is an image, this one is the text file, and so on. But the type must remain as file. So I have 2 inputs here. Let's see how that fares. And then I'm going to put a break tag so that they are on separate lines. Like this. So let me refresh, not send again, refresh. So you see there are 2 of these now. So if I open up here and load in one here, and then I load in another text file there, and then I hit post. So what you will see now is that you have file, and then you have file 2, which has name and so on. So you have the details for these files. So this is a very good way to upload multiple files at the same time. All you have to do is go through these guys once they're on the other side. Now the important thing we have to take note is this one called temp name. Now temp name is where the file will be uploaded to when the user hits upload. So this is the path that the file is going to go to. So all we have to do is copy it from this temp name into the folder that we want. Okay, so now speaking of folders, let's go back here and create a new folder we are going to call uploads. So we're going to call this one uploads. All right, pretty good. So now remember that each user on the website needs to have their own folder. It works better that way. So inside uploads here, we can have folders for each user in here. So now, since we don't know we're going to be using the user ID as the folder name. Now we don't know what user IDs will be created, so we don't want to create those folders in advance. We'll tell PHP to do it on our behalf. All right, so let me go back here. This is uploads folder. We have to make sure the uploads folder is there. Now, if you want, you can simply let PHP create the uploads folder as well, if it doesn't exist. So that's another thing to think about. So let me remove this other input since we only need one of these. Let me go back here. Okay. Oh, let me reset that. All right, so that's good enough. Now let's go and create the class that we need. So actually, before we create the class, just to simplify things, let me go up here and show you exactly how to upload a file without a problem. So what I'm going to do is this. There's one function that uploads a file. So we're going to call it, it's called move uploaded file. It's very simple. So there's the file name and the destination. So we know the file name is inside files there. Okay, so we know it's inside files, but as you have seen, files is this array. So it has to be inside this file because that's the name we've given it. So it's files, file, like that. And then inside file, there is the temp name. So we'll add that at the end there, temp name. So that's the location. So inside the files array, there's another array which is called file. And then inside that, we'll go to this memory location. So files, file, temp name. This is where we're getting it. And now our destination, since we know it's inside uploads, something like that. Okay. Now the thing is, we can't simply give it, let me put a semicolon before I forget. We can't simply put a name at the end of this because we don't want all files to have the same name. So what we need to do is concatenate like this, the file name. So I'm going to say file name like that. So we'll create that variable just now. Now what I want you to check is that you see in here, regardless of the original name of the file, the temp is always .temp like that, .tmp. Okay, so we can't use that file extension anymore. So we have to get the file name, the original file name here, and use that. Okay, so in order to do that, we are going to get this file name variable and assign a value to it. So it's equal to, so again, we get this, but instead of the temp name, we get the actual name. So it's called name. Like that. Okay, so file is equal to. Now another important thing, we have to make sure that we actually have a file in here before we attempt to save anything. So we must check first of all that if is set, if it's set first of all, if that is set, and then we add an and, the same value is not equal to an empty string like this, not equal to empty. So only when these are true do we proceed to do this to avoid any errors. Okay, now if this didn't work out, then it means we can add an else statement here and echo something with an error. Now if you remember, if we go back to profile, we had a place for errors, which is right here. So I'm just going to copy this part and then paste it here. So now if echo result, so it's not result per se, it's error. So I'm going to delete these since we don't need them. Now remember that if you have any text values, they are going to be inside post. But in this case, we are just uploading an image, so we'll leave those be. And then I'm going to set a variable called error. Set it to empty. Actually, at this point, we already know the error, so I don't need to do this. So what I'll simply do is I'm just going to say echo a very specific result. I'm going to say, please add a valid image. Okay, and I think we are good to go for now. So it's that easy to upload a file. So let me come back here, refresh my page, and then I'm going to say browse, open that same image and hit post. So something has happened here. You might not have seen it. Go back here. If I go into my uploads folder, I'm going to find there's actually an image there which has been sent to my uploads folder. Okay, so let me delete that for now because I don't actually need it. That was just for demonstration purposes. If I click post again, I'll get please add a valid image. Now instead of post, I think the appropriate thing to say here is change, since we are changing the profile image. So I'll go here and hit convert post to change. Now the width has been reduced. Post button, so we can go to post button at the top here and change the styles. We had a width of 50 pixels. We can leave it at auto if we want to, just by removing that. Let me see what happens. Yeah, that works well. Or you can set one if you want. That's really up to you. You can set it to 100 pixels, and depends on preference. All right.